Welcome to the Sleep to Dream Analytics Explainer video, where better sleep starts with better understanding.
Hey, welcome! Did you know there's an ancient, incredibly precise biological clock ticking away inside you right this second? It's a master timekeeper, and it's running the show, dictating when you feel tired, when you feel hungry, pretty much everything. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the amazing science behind this system, our circadian rhythm. Let's dive in.
So here's our game plan. We'll start by meeting the master clock itself, then we'll see how light is the key to setting it, we'll figure out what daily orders it's sending out, and discover that there are clocks in basically all of our organs. And finally, the best part, we'll learn how to sync up this whole inner orchestra for better health.
You know that feeling, right? Jet lag is brutal. And that sleepy feeling that hits you like clockwork every night? Well, it all comes down to a battle between the outside world's time and your internal time. Your body is trying, desperately, to follow a super strict schedule that's hardwired into its biology. So where does that schedule even come from?
Okay, so let's meet the conductor of this whole biological orchestra. It all begins in a really, really tiny but unbelievably powerful spot in the brain. Meet the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Yeah, it's a mouthful, so we'll just call it the SCN. But don't let the name intimidate you. Just think of it as the CEO of your body's timekeeping department. It's this little bundle of neurons tucked away in the hypothalamus, and its one and only job is to generate this steady, almost 24-hour rhythm for your entire body to follow. And here's what's so incredible. The SCN doesn't just react to what's happening in the day. It actually anticipates it. It starts getting your body ready for action before you even wake up, and begins winding things down for rest long before you go to bed. It's this forward thinking that organizes our sleep, our hormones, you name it.
But you might be wondering, how does this purely internal clock stay in sync with the actual 24-hour day outside? Well, the key is light. It's the most important signal. So let's actually follow that signal on its journey, all the way from your eye to your brain's master clock. So the whole process kicks off with this special molecule called melanopsin. Now, it's found in a really unique set of cells in your retina. And get this, these are not the same rods and cones you use to, see the world. Think of these cells as dedicated light meters for your brain, built for one purpose, to tell your internal clock what time it is outside. And here's the whole four-step journey laid out. Light, especially that bluish morning light, zips into your eye. Boom. The melanopsin cells fire up. They then shoot a signal down this direct, private neural highway that goes straight to the SCN. And when that signal arrives, a chemical called glutamate gets released, which is basically a direct message to the master clock saying, hey, it's daytime, time to get with the program.
And this right here is why not all light is created equal. It turns out these special melanopsin cells are most sensitive to that short wavelength blue light. That's the exact kind of light that's everywhere in morning sunlight, which is why getting some sun first thing in the morning gives our clock the strongest possible wake-up and reset signal it can get. Okay, so the master clock is now set for the day, thanks to light. But then what? How does it actually tell the rest of the brain and body what to do? Let's take a look at how the SCN sends out its daily marching orders. Right, so the SCN's message doesn't just get blasted out everywhere. Nope, it follows a very precise chain of command. And the first stop is right next door, at a place called the subparaventricular zone, or SPZ. You can think of the SPZ as an amplifier. It takes that clean, crisp signal from the master clock and just cranks up the volume before sending it to the next stop. From the SPZ, that now boosted signal travels to another spot, the dorsomedial hypothalamic nucleus, or DMH. This is the next crucial link in the chain. And this multi-step process is actually genius because it gives our body a chance to mix in other information, like say when we're eating, to really fine-tune the final message before it goes out. And here is where the rubber meets the road. The DMH is what sends out the final orders for the day. During the daytime, it activates areas that keep us awake and alert. But at night, it literally flips a switch and activates sleep-promoting regions instead. It's this super precise daily handoff that controls when we feel awake and when we start to feel sleepy. The SCN is also the director of a daily hormonal dance. As evening rolls in and the SCN's activity quiets down, it signals for the release of melatonin, the famous hormone of darkness, to help us sleep. Then, on the flip side, just before we wake up, it triggers a big surge of cortisol, which is like a get-ready hormone that prepares our body for all the stresses of the day. So far, we've really just been talking about the brain. But the SCN's influence spreads throughout the entire body. It's not just conducting a solo artist. It's leading a massive whole-body orchestra. So it turns out pretty much every organ in your body, your liver, your heart, your kidneys, you name it, has its very own local clock. We call these peripheral clocks. And keeping them all playing in time is absolutely crucial for our health. For instance, if your liver clock, which manages metabolism, is on a totally different schedule than your brain's master clock, it can lead to problems like weight gain. They all need the SCN to give them the master beat. So how does the SCN keep this whole orchestra in sync? Well, it uses a few key systemic signals, things like the daily rhythm of our body temperature, that big cortisol pulse we just talked about, and even the timing of when we eat. These all act as signals from the SCN, basically shouting out to the clocks in our liver and our gut. Okay, people, it's daytime. Time to get to work. All right, so understanding all the science is one thing, but how can we actually use it? This brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole explainer: how to start working with your body clock instead of constantly fighting against it. Now, this piece of clinical advice right here is just so powerful. It tells us that resetting our master clock isn't just about managing light exposure. To get the entire orchestra, our whole body playing in a new time zone, we have to adjust everything at once: our meals, our social life, our sleep. So here's the main takeaway. To beat something like jet lag or adapt to a new shift, you need to go all in, a full court press. Get that morning light in your new time zone, shift your meals to the new schedule immediately, force yourself to sleep and be active on that new clock. When you change all these cues together, you're giving both your master clock and all those other body clocks the clearest, loudest signal possible to get on the new schedule. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question. You know, our internal clock system evolved over millions of years to sync up with the simple, powerful rhythm of the sun. But in our modern world of 24/7 lights and midnight snacks, we are constantly sending it confusing signals. The real challenge for all of us is to figure out how we can honor this ancient internal rhythm while living in our very, very modern lives. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for watching the Sleep to Dream Analytics Explainer video. We hope you sleep well and dream easy.